conversation, I might have a toast with you. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, I'm terrific. We ain't taking no losses, we winning. Undefeated, check the percentage.
Good evening, everybody. Shout out everybody in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping in on this good old Saturday. I gotta say, down where I'm at, we got some snow. If you're a part of the Discord, you know I sent the picture in the Discord. Is my microphone? Everybody, make sure my mic's working good too, man. Make sure my audio sounds good too, man. Let me make sure my audio is working right because I tried to change something on here, so y'all just give me a thumbs up if my audio is sounding right. But like, listen, bro, it's cold where I'm at. It's cold where I'm at right now. Y'all know how I feel about the cold. But with that being said, oh, he said it's off? Okay, hold on. I got you. All right.
Special. We have a special guest tapping in. Special guest tapping in. My mic should be working now. You should be good. All right, we have a special guest tapping in tonight. I'm excited about this conversation. Heard a lot of great things about him. Can't wait to pick his brain on some Vikings football. Looking forward to it. So without further ado, man, let's bring up my guy, Steven, man, from Vikings Playbook. Let's go, man. What's good with you, brother?
I'm doing great tonight, and honestly, I can't thank you enough for having me on. Definitely appreciate the kind words as well, and I've been watching some of your podcasts too, so I've been excited to kind of get on with you and talk some Vikings, and I think all your followers are going to be in for a good show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was looking forward to this one since we set it up. I said I just know this one's gonna hit different. So yeah, this is gonna be good. I want to first of all, I want to get into just the basic things which we got to do that just in case there's people. And real quick too, everybody in the chat, make sure you go and subscribe. Go subscribe to Vikings Playbook. That it's in the title of the video, so y'all already know. Matter of fact, I'll wind up pinning it, or one of the mods, if y'all can go grab the link for his channel and post it in the chat, please, that would be highly appreciated. But let's make sure we go over there and subscribe to the brother, man. I mean, putting out content weekly for sure, and doing it the right way. So let's make sure we're supporting them. But I gotta ask you, Steve,
Yeah.
when did you become a Vikings fan? How long have you been a Vikings fan? Like, how did this all come about?
It runs in the family, so when I was born, I was probably like at least a lot of the kids up in this area where you're kind of born into it. So wearing pads, wearing the helmet, the kids gear when you were little. But I grew up with AC and CC,
Okay.
back in the day, so that was kind of the thing that really sparked the love for the Vikings back in the day. So, the Anthony Carter vibes and Chris Carter. Chris is probably one of my favorite players, and a lot of that has to do with growing up with him at the time, so John Randall,
John Randall. Okay.
a huge John Randall guy. He's another guy that I hope at some point I'll be able to have on my show as well. So, but yeah, I mean that's really what it is. I mean, if it's a sport, I play it. Um, yeah, I mean, just I follow the Vikings, football, and a lot of different sports. I'm really just a sports nerd, and coming in and kind of doing something like Vikings Playbook and doing podcasts like yours. This is a dream for me,
Yeah.
is talking about sports and being able to share my love for not only the Minnesota Vikings, but a sport that I love with a lot of you out there that are following out here at Vocal Vike. Yeah, this is what I love doing. It's talking
Yeah.
with you guys, the fans, and talking with you, man.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. I feel the same way. Hey, look, yours is Chris Carter, mine is Randy Moss. I mean, hey,
Randy
potato,
as well,
potato.
man. It was hard
Potato,
not to like
potato.
Randy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you believe, because this is actually a debate in some with some Vikings fans. Do you
Mhm.
think Chris Carter is better than Randy Moss as an all
No.
around receiver?
Uh no.
Okay.
So Chris has all the know-how,
Okay.
but Randy had all the raw talent, you know?
Yeah.
Um, could Randy have been even better if he had the Chris Carter just I don't want to say Randy didn't work, but Chris had unbelievable work ethic.
Yeah.
He really
Yeah.
did, you know, and Randy had unbelievable hands as well too. But when you take those two individuals and the fact that they got partnered up at the same time, where Chris was just a very mature leader of that football team and was willing to mentor and wanted to take Randy almost like a little brother,
Yeah.
mentor him. Who knows if Randy Moss would have been as good of a wide receiver without Chris kind of mentoring him and kind of doing the big brother, little brother, type thing. But yeah, I mean, Randy was obviously more athletically gifted, talented, whether it be the speed, the height, and just his ability to out jump, outrun uh, the opposition.
Yeah.
What Chris was really good was his route running in his hands. The toe tap, toe drag. He
Yeah.
made that famous. And best hands in the game, right? So
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
both of what they brought to the table, and just they bring different things. But obviously, Randy, there's no other receiver that has had the raw talent that he had.
Yeah.
The only one that really comes close when I think of it as far as, the athleticism, is maybe Calvin Johnson,
Okay. Yeah.
you know?
You got a point. Yeah, man. I love Chris Carter. It's crazy. My father right here, who I got on the screen, Todd, we did a live last night where he called in and everybody was showing him love. He's battling cancer. He beat it now, but when you go through something like that, it never ends, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a journey every day. But this morning it's funny because we were talking about GM. And we're about to that. This is a perfect segue into kind of what we're about to get into the next topic on our list tonight. And he was like, "What do you think about Chris Carter?" He's like, Chris Carter, he's Vikings to the bone gristle, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't know, Pops. Like, listen, Vikings fans, really, Vikings nations, but for the recent things he's said about, JJ McCarthy, how he handled the whole JJ McCarthy thing. I was
Mhm.
like, I don't know if Vikings fans would buy all the way into it. Now they may get over it. And
Sure.
if it was to happen, just say, what, it is what it is. Hey, he knows ball, whatever the case may be. But I'm like, I don't know if that would sit well. I mean, what would you think about something like that? I don't know if he seems like a GM type
So
of guy, anyways.
so maybe not a GM role,
Yeah.
but,
Wide
this
receiver coach.
something like that would be okay too, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you can't bring him into a different type of role,
Right.
within, whether that be management or even, a coaching. Well, look at Rick Spielman,
Mm,
and what he's doing now, so
mm,
he's doing a lot of different work with, different teams,
mm.
and he's giving them advice. I think Chris Carter would be able to do that kind of thing too, and it's the kind of thing that the Minnesota Timberwolves should have done a long time ago with Kevin Garnett, but
Yeah.
ownership got in the way, right? So, that definitely could be something because, he's purple, all the way and out. You could look at Harrison Smith. He would be that type of individual too, where he bleeds purple, not just for the team, but for the fans.
Yeah.
He's the kind of individual that could come in and obviously, give you some insight, talent, has the best in mind for the
Yeah.
organization, and he wants
Yeah.
to see him do well.
So
But
let me
as a
let
GM,
me
no.
yeah. So let me give you the name that I put out there. And shout out D Woods, man. D Woods in the building. We're gonna get to D Woods really quick, but let me first, before we do that, let me put the name that I'm advocating for. And I want your thoughts on this.
Mhm.
And I thought about this today. I said Ben Lieber. Like something about him, right? And obviously he's already employed by the Vikings as far as I'm concerned. I think, or a K fan at least. So yeah, I mean, he's in the building, he's on the field after the games, but
Mhm.
he actually knows ball. I just like the way he speaks.
Yeah.
He just seems like he knows a lot about the game. He's 47 years old, so he's right around that age where this could be a transition for him. Now, I don't know if this is something he would want to pursue because not
Yeah.
everybody wants that role. Some people just want to chill and do what they're doing now. Not everybody wants to be the guy. But what I am saying is, if there's somebody I want to advocate for, just that's left field that most people aren't going to be talking about, that's kind of the guy I'm standing behind, and it's going to be Ben Lieber. I mean, how you feel about that? You think that's crazy?
I don't think it's crazy, but I think for any of those type of positions, what I'd like to see is, them have somebody appointed as a GM and bring somebody like that as an assistant GM.
Got you. Somebody said
Um,
that too on my
and
post.
and grow them up and basically teach them the ins and outs. And who knows down the road,
Yeah,
um, like what happened with George Payton. Although I don't want to see him go to a different team,
right.
but then you possibly have someone in the system. What
Yeah,
what I've been advocating for myself, which I think that they made the right move for now, and we'll see what happens. But Rob Brzezinski has the know-how. He's been
yeah,
in this organization for since 1998, I think. He's been in for like 28 years in the organization,
right.
and no one is a better. He knows the financials. He knows the ins and outs of behind the scenes as the executive VP of this team of operations. He knows the ins and outs of working with players. I really think Rob Brzezinski could do this position if given a chance.
Yeah,
Now, do I think that Kevin O'Connell is going to have a little bit stronger of a say now? Sure. And I think that's okay.
yeah,
Um, when it comes down to a GM making a decision because he thinks that's the best for the team, well, who knows better for the team in a lot of cases than the coach as far as the type of player that they want in that system. So I think that there should be a very strong now what we saw with I see in the chat Bill Belichick for GM, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's my boy, my skull, bro. He sent me that last night. He's like Bill Belichick. I'm like, I mean, babe, Bill Belichick.
Yeah. So, what happened when Bill had like all the power, if you will, it's a lot for one guy to do. So,
Yeah,
um, the coach needs to focus on coaching, and especially when KOC is also doing offensive play calling. Um, I don't want him tied up into thinking those type of things. That's the type of stuff that a GM is paid to do.
yeah,
Now, having a little bit more say in the draft room, having a little bit more say with free agents, I think that's totally fine. And the fact that Rob Brzezinski, uh, he loves this organization.
yeah,
He has been here forever. He has the utmost respect from several. Now, he has survived at least 3 to 4 different ownership groups, and there's a reason for that.
yeah,
You know, a lot of people in those positions would get replaced with their own guys or people that they trust, and Rob Brzezinski is still here. So I would love that.
yeah.
Now, but bringing in somebody as an assistant GM, I don't know if I'm a super fan of keeping Ryan Griggs in here.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
but I think that's a great opportunity to bring in somebody as an assistant GM that maybe we want to eventually have that position. Now, Rob Brzezinski's not going to be here forever either, but if he has the will and the want to do that position, I think he can.
yeah. So I guess my only pushback with that is, I guess, just the PTSD from Kwesi being known so much as the numbers guy, the stock guy, the guy that's
Mhm,
trying to bring this different feel to the GM position and
mhm,
go into it analytically. And when I think about Rob, that's what I think. I think numbers.
sure.
Obviously, I
Mhm,
think I'm not gonna say I think stocks, but I just think numbers. I think accountant. So those type of terms pop into my
right.
brain when I'm thinking about Rob. So that's my I guess would be my only concern would be, is can he go watch in all 22 and say, "Hey, that's the guy that we're gonna pull the trigger on because he does X, Y, and Z really good." Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I
And,
guess because you have a good point. He's been around it.
and that's why you make an assistant GM your football guy that you're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Um, to kind of bring it in there as almost like I've heard the triangle of authority,
Yeah.
type thing
Yeah.
come back. But to a certain extent, yes. I mean, now I don't know if that would ever be a thing, but let's just say it's a guy like Ben Lieber
Yeah.
that would come in to do something like that, and I think
Right.
that's great. Ben can definitely speak to not only a locker room aspect of a guy, but he's been around enough football players to I think. Sitting in a room with somebody in an interview
Yeah.
process, I think he could get a good feel of whether or not, a guy's either A, being real with you, B, Is he a football guy? Is he a good fit for this Vikings locker room? I think Ben would be great for something like that. Now, if we could mold him into a GM, yeah, I could see that for sure. But I would
Yeah.
like to see him start as an assistant.
Yeah, man. I mean, we
I
got I
love Ben. I love
definitely
Ben.
me too. Me too. I think it's an interesting name to throw around there again, just because he just seemed. I think pause if necessary. I think it'd just be easy to digest.
Mhm,
I think it'd be a breath of fresh air. Like for example, if that news was to break, people would be like, "Wow, I didn't think about that." But he knows the game. He
mhm.
played. I mean, he's Vikings in and out. Like he's gonna be Viking first. So those are things that I'm looking for. I mean, obviously, it takes more than just that, and I feel like we need to get it right. So if it comes down to that, I'm sure they're going to try to get somebody who has some experience already. If they're in like this whole, listen, we're tired of waiting. We haven't won a Super Bowl yet, and quite frankly, we haven't been even competing for a Super Bowl in God knows how long. So
Mhm.
the experiment of trying to go get some guy and saying, "Hey, let's try this out," just because you know the game. I don't know if we're in that phase right now. It'd have been
Yeah.
different if we already won like 2 Super Bowls within the 2000s or something, or a Super Bowl within the 2000s. It's like, all right, but I don't know, man. I guess it's gonna be interesting. It'd be an interesting road,
The
interesting road.
the thing with this that's just in the back of my mind is, we talk about Ryan Grigson. He
Yeah,
was assistant GM. Now, the fact that he's not going to be stepping into this role as a um, the interim
yeah,
GM makes it interesting. Well,
yeah,
B, why is he still here if you don't think he's able to take that kind of a jump? Because if you're going to hire a new GM, they're probably going to want their own assistant.
yeah,
Now, at the same time, the fact that you're saying we want Rob Brzezinski to take us through the draft, we're not overreacting. That says Mark and Ziggy think that, yeah, we're going to give him an opportunity, I think, to show that he can do the job as well. The fact
yeah,
that they're not overreacting, not having a current proven GM in that position
mm,
shows that they have that much trust in Rob Brzezinski. So there is that. But
yeah,
it is interesting not only that Ryan Grigson didn't step into the interim, but also that he's still here.
yeah. I know that is
So
interesting. Super
uh,
interesting.
that piece is mind boggling to me a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't make any graphics tonight. Shout out Maddie, FT Maddie, for becoming a member. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you on that. Shout out everybody in the chat, man. I see you, Juke. I see you, man. Appreciate you tapping in. Everybody, make sure you hit the like button. Thank y'all so much for tapping in tonight. And make sure you go and subscribe to my guy Steven over there on Vikings Playbook. His channel's in the title. Y'all already know every time I have somebody on, I just put their channel in the title, make it super easy. Go over there and subscribe and show some love to the brother, man. But we're gonna talk about Kwesi Adofo-Mensah firing. What do you think happened? So I got it scrolling on the bottom. That's gonna be our topic right here. Because as we were talking about all these things and what we believe should happen moving forward, what do you think, Steve, that happened with this whole like? I mean, this was a mess, bro.
Mhm.
First of all, the timing was crazy. Like, I mean, to just see, I felt like it was random. He was just at, he was just in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, just seeing a video of him standing on his tippy toes, looking at players and stuff, acting like he's scouting out there. All right. So, like, what, I mean, what do you think? And let's get into it because obviously there's a lot of this surrounding the quarterback, JJ McCarthy, which I mean, I want to know how you feel about it. I think it's a little unfair, but let's get into it, on what's been coming out, all the speculation that we have going on in Vikings Nation, man. Where you at with it?
There's definitely a lot of that, that's for sure. When we start with Kwesi, I mean, we got to be fair with this, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously, Kwesi has had issues with drafting players that are actually putting minutes in here. Now, I did a story on this. I also write for purpleptsd.com. Go
Okay.
ahead and check that out as well too. But our sister site is also Vikings territory. Now, Dustin Baker did a tweet on this, and it had I think it was how many quarters your draft picks since 2022 have played for the team, and we were 31 out of 32 teams,
Yeah.
and that just highlighted even more like we knew it was bad, but we didn't know maybe it was that bad,
Right.
and yes, Lewis Seen was a big one. We missed, could have Kyle Hamilton, and we ended up, taking Lewis Seen. There's Booth. There's been several that he has missed on. Now, has he hit on some of these individuals? We're still waiting on Dallas Turner. I think Donovan Jackson was a great hit as well. Jordan Addison. So I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, but for the most part, I mean, if you're drafting players in those first 3 rounds, I'm gonna expect most of them, to not just sit on the bench, but get considerable playing time
Yeah.
and become big contributors on your team,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
probably
that's
starters eventually. I mean, you want a homegrown, talent, throughout the draft, and that was a huge struggle. Now, we also had draft picks that we brought in, or sorry, we also had free agents that we brought in.
yeah.
And this offseason, I would like to say most of us, at least in the outside looking in, on paper, we're just like, wow, Kwesi cooking, right?
Yep.
Coming into this last season, let's be fair, a lot of us were, man, Kwesi is cooking,
Yep.
and that's because why would you spend all this money, right? Because we think we got something, right? Now, you went out Ryan Kelly, so we can say, hey, we brought in somebody that already had health injuries and concussion stuff when we brought him in, and he's possibly not going to play again. When we take a look at uh, Jonathan Allen that he brought in, Javon Hargrave. Now, I think Javon Hargrave actually played pretty decent.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Javon Hargrave didn't play out to his contract, because I would be actually happy to restructure and bring him back. Jonathan Allen, yeah, that one didn't necessarily work out as well for what we're paying him. Um, but largely, we've had some issues there on both sides, right? As far as the personnel piece. So it's not just the Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy situation. Now, we don't know what the draft looked like as far as getting Drake May and getting, it sounds like we made the move, right? 3
Yeah.
draft picks is what I'm hearing, right? 3 first to try to get Drake May. Patriots smartly said no.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had their mind on. They had their mind was set.
Okay, so now we got to look at JJ McCarthy was what was left for us. Now, if we were going to trade up, and we traded up to go get JJ McCarthy because we didn't want someone to come snatch him. So we went up an additional pick.
Yeah.
So you were at least not just, hey, whatever falls. You were pretty sold, at least for what was left, that, hey,
Right.
that's our guy. That's who
Yep.
we're going to go with. So
Yep.
you did that. All right. We fast forward. He gets injured. Sam Darnold for sure is cemented, even though he was planned to be the starter going into that season. Plays a great 14-3. We know the story there, right?
Yep.
But then the last 2 games, and hey, Vikings fans, it wasn't just the team. They were pretty frustrated with those last 2 games. I think we all were, right? But then we come into this next season or the off season, and then the decision: do we start the kid, and save some of that cap money, or do we pay to try to
Sammy
keep
D.
Sam here, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like we made a half attempt to do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it, but we want you to take a really friendly.
We'll do it. We'll do it, Steve. But we want you to just take a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
We don't
there was
want to
that too.
commit to you. Because
Right.
again, not to cut you off, but we know that Kwesi is famous for the prove it deals. The 1
Mhm.
year, hey, let's go. Show me
He
what you
did
got
prove
this
it.
year. But he did prove it, but yet you wanted to throw him another prove it. Like, let's do one more prove it year. How
Mhm.
about that? Not as 2 prove it years sound. Instead, the Seahawks came in and said, you know what? No, we're going to commit in you. We're going to commit to you. We believe in you. That's where I
Yeah.
think we let it slip, man. I think we
It
let it slip.
and it's not only that. I mean, you made that decision because you were this is a combination. I'm not letting KOC off the hook here.
Yeah.
Okay? I do not believe for 1 second that this was made in a vacuum by Kwesi.
Yeah.
This was a Kwesi KOC decision. Now, and I've seen the rumor mill, right? And people are going to try to get out in front of this, right? But there's no way that Kwesi said, "We're going with JJ. I'm putting my foot down." I
Yeah.
don't think that that happened.
Yeah.
They at least both thought that JJ was further along than what he was, and honestly, would have been great if Sam would have taken a 1-year deal and JJ could have sat another year. Absolutely, that would have been great. But that's not the situation that we were in.
Right.
Now, what I now let me be fair on this. I do think JJ showed an uptrend in his trajectory as far as development and getting better in at least the situation we are in. Yeah, I would like to see more to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about did we make a mistake with Sam Darnold? Yeah, absolutely we did. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely we did. I mean, now does JJ have the potential of having a higher ceiling? Yeah, there's potential there, but that doesn't mean that he's going to achieve that. We gave up what was seemingly a sure thing for a could be,
Yeah.
and that's what we have to call it. Now, it gets even worse when he does another 14-3 season for Kwesi and KOC. And the
Yep.
story that I did is they're both on the hot seat, and I made the suggestion that Kwesi's on the hotter seat of the two, and obviously we saw that play out. But when he gets to the Super Bowl, and then this is where I think was like the final straw, or what kind of broke it is after the Senior Bowl. And why do you send him to the Senior Bowl if
Yeah.
because I don't think the decision was necessarily made yet, and
No,
it's
no, yeah. I'm curious to hear. Yeah, keep going. I'm
yeah,
curious to hear what you
I
think,
don't
what you
think
think popped
the
off.
decision was made yet because I don't think you send him to the Senior Bowl.
No,
It sounds
absolutely
like
not.
there was rumblings, and you heard Tom Pelissero talk about this a little bit. If you saw the clips, he talked about it a little bit to where he was kind of hearing some rumblings, and he brought it up to Kwesi, and Kwesi's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I mean, maybe you know more than I do."
Yeah.
You know, he comes back and he's asked the questions about Sam Darnold after the Senior Bowl.
Right.
And if you saw the videos from that, I think that was a little bit of a train wreck and almost an admission that I messed up.
Yeah.
And I think when Mark and Ziggy saw that, and let's just say that they're on the edge, like, I think we
The
give 'em
straw
one
that
more
broke the
year.
camel's back.
That's the
That's what it
straw,
is.
the final straw. They see that
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just how much heat he's taken. And then in that press conference, I think he just admits that I screwed it up.
Yeah.
And by
Yeah.
that, that's also a shot at JJ at the same time of your current
It is.
quarterback.
It is.
So that's what I think happened.
It's a mess, man, Steve. That was a lot that you just went through, and I agree with everything you said. And I mean, this we're in a goddamn mess right now, boy, in Vikings land, man. I swear, man, this is so much, and
Why would
it's
you
gonna
let
keep
him talk
unfolding.
to potential players that you're going to possibly draft or bring in
Yeah.
if you were already committed to firing him? And I
Yeah.
don't think that they were yet. I think
No,
they
I
were
don't think
still
they
in
were
that
either.
process. That
Yeah.
press conference, I think, was the final.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
we
and
we,
and
we
and
got to
and the
do it.
bad part, what makes it worse, right, is I'm happy for Sam Darnold. Like, hey, good for the guy. I mean, he owed us nothing.
Hmm.
Came in, had a great season. As a Vikings fan, it was
Yeah.
it was a fun season rooting for our team with Sammy D at the quarterback. What makes it worse though is that he has to be going to the Super Bowl. Now, listen,
Yeah.
and now if he wins it, I mean, it couldn't get. I was saying this. I was saying this, man. Nothing would have been worse. Which I mean, I feel like all three quarterbacks are linked because Drake May, we wanted to make a push on that. You stated that too, where and
Hmm.
and there were early reports on Kevin O'Connell, Drake May, that's his guy. Right.
Yep.
That's his quarterback. That's who he wants. If he can have any quarterback, it's Drake May, right? And I guess we could say he's right because Drake May's balling. But I
Right.
was saying if Daniel Jones didn't get hurt, the most Vikings thing that would have happened would have been the Seahawks versus the Colts in the Super Bowl. You would have had two quarterbacks that were in the building in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Both of them you let walk out the door, and now they're playing each other. Because if you remember, Steve, at the beginning of the season, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones were damn near they were the top two quarterbacks in the damn league. You know what I mean? Like they were playing the best football. Like that and everybody, at that time, we're still looking at it like, all right, well, maybe it's not sustainable. Maybe they'll fall off, whatever the case may be. And they continued to stack weeks. And then Daniel Jones finally got hurt. which I think, might have saved Kwesi another week or so. You know what I mean? Maybe another couple days, 48 hours. But again, I mean, it's just you look at this whole situation, and I don't think it could get any worse. I don't think it could have gotten any worse with how this year played out, man.
And
JJ McCarthy didn't play that great. He showed an uptick, but didn't play that great. Sam Darnold was in your building. He's going to the Super Bowl, and with a high chance to win it. I think the Seahawks have a very good chance to win. And then you had Daniel Jones pre-injury that was on an MVP trajectory.
Yeah, and let's be a 1,000,000% real with the kind of season that Sam had this year.
Yeah.
Sam had a good year. He did
Yeah.
not have a
Wasn't great.
great year.
Right.
Statistically
Right.
speaking. If we take a look at Sam Darnold's year that he had this year, and I'm just going to read off some stats.
Yeah, read them off.
So, and this is taking in consideration that Sam Darnold also had Cooper Kupp, he had JSN, and at least for the back half after the trade deadline, he had Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And he also had Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. So with a really good offensive line. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So 2025, what he threw for was 4,048 yards. Great, right? You
Right.
throw for 4,000, that's great. He threw 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He actually was the leader in turnovers for quarterbacks this year with fumbles and interceptions. Now, his QBR that he had he's tied for 19th right now.
Okay.
Over quarterbacks. So let's just put that in perspective.
Yep.
So it's not like he's in the MVP talk.
Right.
He had a really rock solid defense. I'll say Seattle is probably top 3, top 4 defense in the league, right?
Absolutely.
That's fair.
Yep.
So you had the most well-rounded team in the league. You could go in there with a game manager type performance, which I don't want to call 4,000 yards game manager. He did make plays. You look at what he did versus the Rams with the 3 touchdowns, I think 348 yards off the top of my head. That's a great game against still a pretty good defense with the Rams. Now, the trouble that he had with the Rams early in the season, he got absolutely waxed with Seattle. The last 2 times he got the best of them. So yes, did he have a good season, great season statistically? No, but the fact that he could take that team that's well-rounded, and I think Ziggy and Mark Wilf look at the Minnesota Vikings and think, hey, at the beginning of the season, power ranking wise, that team was not ranked better than the Vikings.
Right. Right.
So, and again, I'm not saying that they're basing it off power rankings.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they're saying Sam Darnold can take, because we saw him do it just a year ago. It took us to 14-3, but just we couldn't get over the hump. We had some offensive line issues, which we did again this year.
Right.
But he was still able to, with a well-rounded team, this is what he's capable of.
Let me build on that, Steve.
Yep.
Like when I look at the Seattle Seahawks, I touched on this, and it's when you look at their defense, hell, you can look at the offense. Mm-hmm. What we are witnessing with Seattle is a team that, first of all, lost Pete Carroll. Most football fan would have said, "Oh, damn, you lost Pete Carroll." I mean, it's probably they're probably some years out before they got rid of Geno Smith. And regardless how you felt about Geno, it's like, okay, they're pretty much like starting over, whatever the case may be. Blase. I say that to say this though. What you see in Seattle is what I want from our Minnesota Vikings that ties back into Kwesi, and that's called actual team building, knowing how to draft. What we are seeing on their defense, especially that secondary, we are seeing players that they drafted and developed, and they were hits. I mean, the Kobe Bryants, the guy from Illinois. I always
Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy. We're talking about Tariq Woolen. I mean, these are guys, man, like they're going out, Nick Emanwari that they just picked up that's making plays. Like they are hitting, man. When they draft a player and for that defense, they are out there instantly and making an impact.
Shaquille Griffin, right? We had him here. Why didn't we re-sign him?
What we're witnessing is that's what you call an organization that is actually doing the right thing when it comes to building a team, drafting correctly. And that's what we failed to do as Minnesota Vikings. Kwesi failed to do that. And we can blame everybody. They talk collaboration. Hey, just the Vikings front office ever since Kwesi got in this building, what we have failed to do is put a team together through the draft, and we're paying the price for it. The Seahawks are coasting right now because they did the right thing. And then it goes back to what you said, Steve. All they had to do was plug a Sam Darnold in. That's it, you know? And you would think at the beginning of the season, the Vikings, you would think we were in the same boat. Hey, all we need is a game manager. I remember all the talks. Hey, JJ McCarthy, we can get rid of Sam Darnold. Hey, JJ McCarthy, all we need him to do is manage. We got one of the best defenses with B-Flow. We got Kevin O'Connell, who's the offensive wizard, the QB whisperer, this, that, and the third. All we got to do is plug a average guy in there, and we can win 14 games again or whatever. Right? We found out really quick that was not the case, man. It was not. All right. This team lacks depth. This team, we have no young players other than the couple you named, Steve, earlier that we give Kwesi, I guess, a couple flowers for, which, I'm going to push back on the Addison one because although he plays football well, I think he is, I just still don't believe that it was as good as a pick as most Vikings fans think because of the character issues. I think character issues, they need to be on the table. And when you're not available for 3 games, that can make or break you making the playoffs or not. That can make or break you having an opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl and not. And him missing those 3 games at the beginning of the season, we could have been a playoff team if he was available the first 3 weeks. Because we probably could have won one of those games that we lost.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We would have been a playoff team. No question. Anybody that says that we weren't, hey, you don't know that. We would have been a playoff team. I will go to bat for Sam on that. You look at the season he had last year, and yes, we had offensive line issues. Sam Darnold took 27 sacks with the Seahawks. He took 48 last year with the Vikings with the offensive line issues that we had. And he was still able to throw for 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and 4,300 yards. And he was a borderline MVP last year before those last 2 games of the season. Sam Darnold is not a game manager, but he is an above average quarterback that can definitely, as you can see, if you put the right pieces around him and you have a well-rounded defense, which we do have on the defensive side of the ball, especially with B-Flow back, we have pieces on the offensive side. It is possible. Again, if our offensive line stays healthy, there's different talks that could have been, things could have played out differently this year too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Shout out to first of all, let me get this real quick, Steve, man. Let me get these super chats right here, man. Shout out to our guy Based. He says, personally, I think they fired Kwesi and are waiting till after the draft to replace him because KOC is on his last chance. And if they're underachieving this season, I think is what you meant, he's gone too, and they don't want the new GM attached to that. You got a point, man. Hey, appreciate you with that super chat. I mean, I can. It's to me, right? We'll talk about this real quick, Steve. Is what we saw today, right? It's not. I don't think it's a coincidence that after Kwesi gets fired, within 24 hours we add 4 new coaches to this football staff. Right? I believe it's 4 total. Was it 4 total? I think we did. Was it Frank Smith? The guy from
he's the new assistant head coach.
Yep. The guy from the Steelers. We got Keith, and who was the last? The defensive coordinator for the Jaguars.
So we got I just had it here. We hired Frank Smith as the assistant head coach. He came over from the Dolphins. Keith Carter is the new offensive line head coach.
Keith Carter, there we go.
Gerald Alexander is the D pass game coordinator, DB coach that was left by Durante Jones when he went to Washington. But Gerald Alexander used to be an NFL safety with the Steelers. NFL safety when he was before, but he was coaching with the Steelers previously. And then Ryan Nielsen was hired as the D-line coach. He's the one that came over from the Jaguars.
Yep. So, I mean, look at that. Look at that. So I want your take on this, Steve, and then we'll get the Class G's super chat here is, even ever since Kwesi came in the door, for some reason, this goes back to the first year where we go to the playoffs and play the New York Giants, but we lose because of one guy, right? You can go down the list and say, hey, well, we also lost because of this, that, and the third. But I'm going to say we lost that playoff game because of one guy. And I think a lot of those games were close and nail biters, even though we pulled most of them out, was because of one guy, and that was Ed Donatel. I say that to say this. I felt like Kwesi and his team that he put together he always sits on his hands and doesn't make moves when they're supposed to be made. You know, there's no sense of urgency. I feel like Ed Donachelle should have been fired week 5, week 6. We should have seen the writing on the wall and said we can no longer move forward with this guy. Like
Right.
we have to fix this problem. Okay. This and I say that because there's been other situations, and we can go down the list, but we don't really need to, because us Vikings fans, we know. All right. There's been multiple situations where Kwesi should be picking up the phone, fixing a problem, but he doesn't. There's a couple that he did the thing where Darisaw got hurt and we went out and got the boy from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, great move. You didn't waste any time. You went out and did that. We gave you your flowers. But there's more that you didn't. You sit on your hands. And today proved to me that the moment he walked out the door, all of a sudden, 4 new coaches get brought into the building. I mean, come on. Like, this is what should have been happening. How do you feel about that?
Well, so a couple of different ways you can maybe take this, I guess, but Chris Cupper, I think a lot of us were saying, hey, a change needs to be made there.
Absolutely.
I think that's some of the same things were said about Daniels on special teams.
Yeah.
Durante Jones left. I mean, I thought Durante would have been a natural replacement for Brian Flores. So replacing him, I mean, we had to do that anyways.
Right.
Defensive line, sure, on that one. But the offensive line, okay. So we bring in Frank Smith. All right. Frank Smith wasn't going to stay here as an offensive coordinator. So we made the power move, if you will, to bring him as an assistant head coach, which is the whole Mike Pettin thing, which I'm sure you talked about as well.
Yeah.
He's going to be coaching offensive line. So yes, I mean, people are worried about Keith Carter coaching on the offensive line, promoting from within. But I think, Frank's obviously going to be involved with coaching that offensive line. I think no doubt about that. That's why we made that move, that power move. One, so we give him more responsibility, buffs up his resume, helps him get to where he wants to get. But at the same time, we get the guy that we want, we get the specialty that we want, and we're also paying the guy because that's what we need.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. Now, the timing of everything, could this have been an issue that KOC is saying we need to make changes in these areas? And Kwesi was saying, no, we don't. And I'm not looking to, fire X guy. So that could have been some of the consternation too. So could
it
some
seems
of that
like it's linked.
Internal stuff been, I want these changes to be made on the coaching staff. And Kwesi was fighting against those personnel moves. That absolutely could have been part of the equation. But I think they did the right thing here, even with the post Kwesi era, and bringing in Frank Smith and making him the assistant head coach to make sure the power move. So we get him instead of another team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, he wasn't going to stay here.
Yeah, no, I like the move, and we'll touch more on that too, because I'm curious to see what he brings to the run game. I'm super excited to see if maybe there's something there that can
Ed Ingram, right?
Hey, let's go, man. Hey, look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Class G, shout out Class G for the 3309. He said 9 still our guy. KOC not okay with how it was handled. Kwesi threw everyone under the bus last interview when it was his decision. 9 is still the guy, but now they're going to do right by him. Skull fam 2026 NFC champs. Let's skull. Shout out my brother Class G. That was next. Great segue, man. Class G must have read our show notes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he absolutely must have read our show notes here. Let me get this edited real quick here. Let me change this. What's our thoughts on JJ McCarthy moving forward, man? And I know we touched on a little bit of it at the beginning, but let's get deeper into the weeds here, because so I felt like I don't know what you felt. I think I would say maybe like mid-season, right? I was like, man, dang, hold on. Let me dang it. Hold on. I was like, man, I don't know. There's something that just doesn't seem right. Something just doesn't seem right when it comes to JJ McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell. Okay. I felt like there was a disconnect there. And I don't know if I was thinking too deep into it at the time. I'm like, maybe I'm looking at it, a little too hard and I'm tripping right now. My mind's playing tricks on me. My eyes are playing tricks on me. But now that all of this extra news came out in the past 24 hours, I'm like, it's starting to make sense. It's really starting to make sense. Was JJ McCarthy, and I know you touched on it earlier where you said, hey, we did move up. And they are big on collaboration, and I'm with you where I don't feel like Kwesi said, hey, we're going to get JJ McCarthy and that's the end of that. I don't care, Kevin O'Connell, if that's not your guy, that's who we're bringing in. I don't think that was the case. But part of me feels like Kevin O'Connell wasn't all the way sold on JJ McCarthy, man, just because of how they were acting. Now, you might feel different. I'm curious to hear how you feel about that. But I don't think the connection was there, man. It just didn't feel right, bro. It didn't. It didn't, man. Where you at with that?
All right. I'm gonna attempt to throw out an analogy
Okay.
for you guys.
Okay.
Have you seen the movie Glory Road?
Oh man,
About the Western Texas basketball team.
I
So
suck
this
for
is
moving. I haven't. So
no,
you're gonna have
so
to break it. You're
down
gonna
in
have to go
San
in depth.
Antonio, down in San Antonio. I wish I could throw up a graphic here right now. So basically, this is
I can throw up a
college
graphic. What is it?
basketball world. They end
Okay.
up winning the national title, but basically they bring in the first team start bringing in all black players, right?
Okay.
Not all black; they had white players too, but they started integrating them. And anyways, um, the coach during the game is trying to make them play a different type of basketball. All right,
Okay.
so he wants them to play, basketball by the rule, not playing the way that they typically would play. And when it gets late in the season in the playoffs, they're saying, Coach, there you go. Coach, just let us play our game, and we can win,
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the similar case with Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy, so with the mechanics thing that we're talking about and the way that he's trying to change the way that JJ McCarthy has been playing football his entire life. And
Yeah.
now Kevin O'Connell, because he was hurt last season, so he's not doing a whole lot of drills. So here in basically training camp, and again, didn't even play a whole lot of the preseason games, which that is obviously a mistake on KOC.
Yeah.
But because you thought he was ready and he obviously needed the reps. But you're trying to take him in what he does good, and you're putting that over here and you're saying, but I want you to do this. I want you to play like this, but that's not
Yeah.
who he is. And you're not
Right.
playing by his skill set. And then what we saw in weeks 14 through 16 is, we heard the word simplify out there too. And, but basically what you did is you said, don't worry about the mechanics. I want you to unleash and coach, let me play my game. And I think that's what we saw happen
Yeah.
in weeks 14 through 16. We let JJ play his game, and we saw what could be.
Yeah.
Now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's what is, but we saw what could be, and we saw flashes for that Cowboys game. Now that started rough, and we were like, here we go again. But the way that game played out, and again, then the following week as well, we got to see that, we might have something here. And then, of course, he got hurt again. He got hurt 3 times, 4, if you want to call that final game, re-injuring his hand. But those are the major concerns with JJ McCarthy is the accuracy and getting hurt. But I think we also saw his accuracy go up in those weeks 14 through 60. And again, can he keep that upward trajectory? And what is the communication message going to be to any quarterback that we do talk to this offseason? Because obviously we need to bolster that quarterback room. My thoughts on this is we need to bring in somebody that is going to push JJ McCarthy, not replace him. Now,
Okay.
I say that because unless you're going to, I'm going to do it. You're going to make me do it. Unless you're bringing in a Joe Burrow, which is not happening.
Man.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Not the B word.
But again, unless something like that's out there, JJ is going to be your guy. It should be your guy, unless you're going to spend the draft picks to bring in. For the long term, is Mac Jones your guy?
Oh, man,
Is he long term? So is it worth spending? Now you can bring him in, but again, the
Ah,
conversation, does Mac Jones want to come here when the conversation's going to be, we want to bring you in here maybe for a year or whatever, but we really want to groom JJ McCarthy. So you're bringing whoever you bring in, you're bringing them in to be a placeholder or to mentor and be a clipboard holder for JJ McCarthy. So how many people are you going to attract for that? I don't think that you're in the running for maybe some of the premier individuals that are out there. And if we start taking a look at some of the names that could be out there on that list, Davis Mills, you would have to trade for. I really like Davis Mills, by the way.
I like Davis
If you heard
Mills.
my podcast, I really love
I like him.
if we could get him. But CJ
Yeah.
is really CJ Stroud is kind of
He
messing up
he
that
might
thing
take
in
CJ's
Texas.
job. Yeah.
Absolutely, he played better than him.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, no, I don't think that he's the guy, and I don't think that fits Kevin O'Connell's type of system.
Yeah.
You know, Aaron Rodgers, again, that's a renta. That's a rental.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers,
You know,
please.
Anthony Richardson has the same kind of
And
issues.
please don't say the K word, Steve.
The K word. I'm trying to think which one you mean, but starting position. We're not here.
Don't say that. Did you hear me when I said don't say the KC word, man? Don't say the KC word, Steve, please.
All right. Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo could be an individual that I would look to bring in.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is not because Jimmy's going to blow your socks off. It's because he plays great in a system like we saw in San Fran, which we play the same system here, which you saw Sam Darnold thrive in. Now, that is somebody who, if we still have injury issues with JJ McCarthy, he can come in and actually play some games. Now, if JJ does continue to have those injury issues next year or cannot continue that upward trajectory, we have to be looking to move on. Yeah. I'm sorry. But that's just where it is. But I do want to see, do we have something here? But we have to get him healthy.
Man, so I was joking with you when I said the KC word because obviously the Kirk Cousins thing is still gonna circle here. And here's my deal with that is it's nothing against Kirk Cousins. Obviously, everybody knows how I feel about the guy, right? I think he's a great person. I don't want him as my quarterback. But I already know that it's happening. It's going to be talked about. It's already being talked about as we speak, anyways. I just don't want our team to go backwards anymore. I feel like I'm a new person now, man. My Vikingism has taken another step, right? And now I used to be like, hey, we get rid of this person. Well, if I was a fan of this said player, I would push to say, hey, we should bring this guy back if he's available. I mean, look what he did for us. Now I feel like, hey, you're a Viking. I learned my lesson with Adam Thielen, and that's a whole nother story. But you're a Viking. You walk out that door. There's no need for our franchise to keep going backwards and trying to, finish what we started, if you want to put it in that term, right? Like, it's just like, bro, no, let him go, man. Please, can we just go a different direction?
He's going to be 38. Honestly, unless he was solely going to be here to be a backup mentor, he can't be a guy that you're trying to push for a starting job because is he better than JJ McCarthy right now? Unfortunately, yes, he is. Is his ceiling as high as JJ McCarthy? No, he's 38 and getting older, and the arm, as we've seen in some of these quarterbacks, they eventually start to go. And, that's not a future that we want to be married to.
Exactly.
But, I think you do have to,
Do you think we got to kick the tires on him?
No. I'm going back to JJ McCarthy. I think you got to see if you got the guy. And if you don't have the guy, guess what? You're going to have a high draft pick next year in that quarterback class to go try again and try your luck at the free agent market. Now, could you bring in somebody like, and people are saying that, Anthony Richardson? I'm not trading for him. Maybe a 5th or a 6th round. Sure. I would do something like that as a project, as a third stringer, but not as their second quarterback because you have some of those same issues. And I don't think you really want to bring in somebody that it's going to be like, hey, we maybe are fighting for a quarterback position here. I think somebody to push him, sure, but not really someone to go get that job. Yeah. Now, do I think that JJ has to prove it? Yes, I think he does have to prove it.
No, absolutely.
And he's going to be pushing it this offseason. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you already have spent the investment. You already got rid of Sam. So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's find out what we got.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have him play enough games to
Right.
really know. And then we start to got, and again, a lot of this is KOC's fault for
Right.
trying to put him in a box of what he is not.
Right.
So let's start playing him what he is. We saw what happened when the Baltimore Ravens initially tried to make Lamar Jackson into what he's not. Let him be great at what he is.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's the same thing with JJ McCarthy for me. Let him be great with what he is.
Yeah. No, fact. Shout out Salif in the building. Shout out Delt. I see you. Shout out my boy, man. Let's get it. And then we got a Blunt. I see you, man. Shout out everybody, man. Y'all make sure you hit the like button real quick. I made sure I pinned his channel at the top of the chat. So now you guys can go over there, hit the subscribe button on my guy, man, Steve. Y'all hear it, man. I want to give D Woods a shout out real quick, too, because D Woods reached out to me before the show earlier today and was like, hey, I see you got my guy Steve on, man, from Vikings Playbook. He's like, bro, is super knowledgeable, man. It talks the game how it's supposed to be taught. So, and he ain't lying, man. You know, you've been cooking, man. So shout out to Steve, man. Let's go.
Appreciate it.
For sure.
D Woods is good.
Yeah,
D
man.
Woods
Shout
is
out
good.
D
I
Wood.
like
That's my
him.
boy. Oh, that's my boy. That's a fact, man. Norris Fierce with the 5. He said, kind of hard for any QB in KOC's offense. The dumb bastard should know his offense is predicted on play action. You have to run to be able to fake it. And you know, that's one way that, well, that's really like the only way play action is going to be effective is if you're running the football and being good at it for the most part. I mean, every once in a while you might get a lucky break in there and fool the defense, but you have to be able to control the ground, man.
And JJ can. And JJ
Yeah.
can. And
Yeah.
this is a frustration for me. So early on, we saw he's learning. Early on, he was too quick because he was trying to go through his progressions and he was struggling with some of that. So
Yeah.
what we saw early on is he was too quick to tuck and run.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't keeping his eyes downfield for other plays. So, you know, I think I was saying it. I'm sure others were as well. And then later on, what we saw is when he got his second opportunity to come back, which he played a lot better. What we saw is he was holding it a little bit too long, trying to make a play downfield. So we just
Yeah.
had to find that happy medium. We started to see that in weeks 14 through 16, which was exciting.
Yeah.
Because then when he saw open grass in front of him, he did what exactly he should be doing. Is
Improvised.
taking off and running.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. If they're going to give that to you, take what the defense is giving you, and he can do that all day long.
Yep.
So, you know, let's see where it goes because we really only saw weeks 14 through 16 of him truly spreading his wings and playing like he knows how to play. And I want to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Now, that could be us drafting a quarterback or trying to trade for someone or grab a free agent next year. Absolutely. Could
Yeah.
be something, but you
Yeah.
don't know. And this team and our fans we've never really developed a quarterback. So there's some struggle. You know, I've had a couple different Bears podcasts on mine before and talked about it. Caleb Williams, his first year, man, they were calling for a backup, right?
Drake May.
That first week was a struggle and they were
Yeah.
dogging Caleb Williams. But guess
Yeah.
what? This year, he's had time to grow a little bit. I'm not saying he had an amazing year, but he had a vastly improved season
Yeah.
in his second year. That
Yeah.
doesn't always happen for quarterbacks. CJ Stroud. Obviously, we're seeing that with Daniels and Washington a little bit too. The biggest thing for JJ, and I like the enthusiasm to go get the extra yard. And if it's for a touchdown or you have to get the first down, sure, go ahead. Reach out, go get it. Otherwise, I need you sliding, my guy, because I need
Yeah.
your legs fresh. I need you healthy in the game, and that's what I want to see next season.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. That's a good segue right into here, man. Expectations on the 2026 draft for the Vikings, because you did mention maybe we draft a quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised, actually. I don't think we will, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Kevin O'Connell, just because he's a former quarterback, I feel like he's one of those guys that's going to say, hey, I always want to shoot your shot. You know, you never know. Even if it's a guy in the, 6th round, hey, let's go get a guy. Like if a guy like Ty Simpson or somebody's there, like in some later round, maybe there's an opportunity to grab him. I don't know. But like, I'm with you on, I think JJ McCarthy needs to be the focal point for this team going into 2026 as far as the quarterback. I don't think we need to veer off to the left, veer off to the right now. real quick too, before we get into the draft thing, Steve,
Mhm.
backups, right? What is a name? Like, if you can pick one person right now that you think would be perfect to bring in, all right, push JJ McCarthy somewhat. You know, you don't want to bring in a guy that's not going to be competition just to say he's on the team. What's a name that pops up in your head as far as us adding to the QB room in 2026?
Davis Mills.
Oh yeah, you
You
did
know,
say that. Davis Mills. Okay, yeah. Shit,
Davis
to be
Mills is
real, boy,
one guy.
Davis Mills might can beat JJ.
Davis
Low
Mills
key.
is better than JJ right now.
Yeah, low key.
He is. Now, has he earned a starting gig? No, but he may see that as an opportunity
Yeah. Yeah.
in Minnesota, not just because of some of the issues that JJ had, but also the injury concerns.
Yeah.
You know, that is a type of thing next year where whoever is brought in, let's just say they have that type of talent. If
Yeah.
JJ gets hurt for an extended period of time, some backup could come in there and not ever get the job back.
Yeah.
That is very possible with a Davis Mills kind of guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Now people have mentioned Zach Wilson. I'm not crazy about that. I mean,
So I'm on. I gotta say, Steve, I'm on the Wilson train. I'm on the Wilson train a little bit. I haven't
I'm
been
not
pushing the
crazy
line, but
about
I'm
it.
on it.
I'm not crazy about it. I mean, I would bring him in as like, again, I still want somebody in addition to Zach Wilson because I don't want us to be. I don't want Zach Wilson to be your second.
Look like
best.
our QB room look like NSYNC. Look
I-
like the damn Backstreet Boys.
I still feel like he needs a mature individual still in
Yeah.
that room. Even
Yeah.
if it was Carson Wentz again, I
Yeah.
still think he needs a veteran that's in that room that's at least talking to him. I mean, even if you brought in, it doesn't have to be anyone premier. I just think that you still need to bring someone in. Whether it was Joe Flacco for 1 year, whether it was like I said, Jimmy G, I think is a good fit for the system.
Yeah.
He's a system guy like that we play that exact system, and we've seen, the Raiders thing, it doesn't necessarily work, but you put them in that West Coast system that San Fran likes to run, like we also run.
Yeah.
That works great for Jimmy G,
Yeah.
and probably helps when you have better weapons.
That's
as
a
well.
name that's under the radar that a lot of people haven't been talking about. You know, you're the first person. I mean, so
Jimmy G is not going to cost you picks.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be very low. But I don't know if Jimmy G would get us anywhere. People say Russell Wilson. Absolutely not. I don't want Russell Wilson.
But again, even if you brought in those names, do you want to start those individuals or do you want to see what JJ has?
I want to see what JJ has for sure.
So
Yeah.
if that's the case, does it really matter if?
But
Jimmy G?
let's say this, Steve. Let's go down this road. Even though we like me and you and most of us want to see JJ start, right?
Mhm.
But are we also going into the situation? Because I'm sure if I had to guess, I would think KOC would be going into it like this too, where it's like based off of evidence and based off of what we have been going through at the quarterback position. We're talking injuries.
Yeah.
I think the guy you bring in, you're not just looking at him as a backup at this point. You're looking at him as a guy that, hey, he might have to carry us from week 6 to the end of the season to make a playoff run. So
I
we
get
need a
that.
guy that can play.
I get that, and that is kind of why I like Jimmy G as well, and that's why I like Davis Mills. Now the other individuals, do you look at this team and say, "Man, we're just a Mac Jones away"? No,
I don't
So-
want Mac Jones, man. I
so
don't know
why do you
why
wanna
when I
give
hear
a
that
second
name,
rounder?
I'm like,
I know, and I'm in the same boat. I don't want to give up a second. If I'm giving up a second round pick for Mac Jones, that's probably because I think he's going to be probably a future player for a longer than a 1-2 year deal.
I'd
right?
rather Gardner Minshew, man.
So we're on the same train. So why give up picks?
Yeah.
For somebody, and that's
We
why I'm
can get Gardner
saying,
Minshew for nothing, right?
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. You could bring in a Jimmy G. He's not going to cost us anything, and
Jimmy G, okay.
we either go down with the ship next year, or we find out that hey, we got something, and I'm not going to say Quasi is redeemed, but if you got something to build off of, let's see where that goes.
I see Mariota in the chat.
Mariota. We don't run that kind of offense. Now he
Yeah.
could still play, and you could still bring him in. I just don't think this is that type.
You know
of
who's a good
that's
name?
a great fit for him.
You know who's a name that I think too that somebody did mention, and I thought it would be a KOC type of guy, Cooper Rush. I can see a Cooper Rush type
Mhm.
quarterback. You know,
Yeah.
Cooper Rush would be somebody we get for nothing, and
Yeah.
he can run an offense. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
gonna wow you, but
No, but he has enough starting experience and years in the league where he can still be a good mentor and a good mature leader in the
yeah,
quarterback room
yeah,
to help him, whether it be breaking down film or whatever it may be. And that's really what we need, and that's why I'm just saying, Zach Wilson, he's maybe not who I'm targeting to
yeah,
bring to help that quarterback room and
yeah,
help AJ
yeah.
because you
Because
also
he's
got to
still
be
in the
thinking.
developmental phase.
Correct. So you
Yeah,
still got to be thinking. So if I bring in a Zach Wilson, I got to bring in someone else too.
yeah.
Now, if I bring in Jimmy G and Zach Wilson, yeah, yes, I hear you guys.
Anthony Webb said Derek Carr. That would be interesting if he came out of
He
retirement
he
and
didn't
he's
want to
healthy.
come out last year.
Yeah,
He's not gonna come
yeah.
out this year.
That would be interesting.
He tried to get there were some teams trying to talk him out of retirement,
Yeah,
late in the season, and he didn't wanna do it, so I don't see that
yeah,
happening here
yeah,
either.
yeah,
But at the same time, if you're gonna bring, those individuals in, then it's a twofer that you're looking in, and the people that like Max Brosmer, and I'm sorry. He's not our
Max
number 2.
Brosmer is not it. No,
He's not our number 2, and he's
he's
not
not
a
a number
veteran
3
in the
either. He's
locker
a
room.
practice squad. That's what he
So,
is.
yeah, and I'd be okay with him as a 3rd, but you're probably right. He's probably more of a practice squad type guy. So again, that's where I'm in the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
So let's
Let's
ride and die with
Yeah,
JJ
so
next year.
I know, and real quick, I know, hey, my guy Steve has another show he's doing tonight with our boy Rhino, man. Shout out to them Vikings Uncensored. That's gonna be a great one. So y'all make sure you tap in. I know Norse knows all about that. Norse loves that show as well, man. Shout out to them fellas, man. I love them fellas. You know what I'm saying? So I still got to get Rhino on. We tried to set it up one week, and our
Mhm.
times just kept going array, and we couldn't get it popping. So I need to make sure I tap back in, man. So I'll tap in tonight to that. So, but let's run down the expectations. We got this topic, and then I think we got one more that's real quick. It'll be quick to answer, but let's just do first round. Okay. First round. Who is it? What do you expect the Vikings to do in the draft this year with their first round picking at 18? What is your best scenario? Where do you see happening?
Cornerback or safety.
Okay.
Uh,
Who's a safety that you got your eye on? If you did your homework already
um,
yet, because I'm still procrastinating. I need to
I,
do more of my draft shit.
I'm still looking as far as
Okay.
that goes, but
Yeah.
there's been some different names that are thrown out there, but I do think that we need to be, whether we trade back.
Yeah.
I know we hate that. See what comes to us, BPA. I get that conversation too, and I know a lot of people are saying Love. That's probably not happening. He's off the
Yeah.
board by that time.
Yeah.
Running back help, yeah, there could be somebody that we're going to bring in, but probably not the first round unless Love was there that
I
high in
want
the draft.
A-Chain from
Was not
Miami.
going to be.
I want to trade for A-Chain, man. You know what I mean? Bring him over with Smith, man. I want to go for A-Chain.
So there's different names out there in the free agent market, and yeah, there's a lot of you got ETN, you got Brees Hall that's out there.
Oh,
K9 is also going to be a free agent, but I think
they're keeping him. They're gonna
okay.
give him back. You
I
think?
know
You
this
don't
isn't
think?
a Seattle podcast, but
Yeah. You don't think?
so they kind of cast him off a little bit for Zach
Okay.
Charbonnet, a little
Yeah.
bit,
Okay.
and um, if I'm K9, the only reason they're even wanting to bring him back right now is because Charbonnet is not healthy. So if I'm K9, once he gets healthy, are you gonna again favor him over me? So I think in the back of his mind, that will be something. But I think depending on how this goes, as far as winning the Super Bowl, is going to play into that a little bit too. Um, so we'll see because Seattle really needs to pay the man now that they're not going to have Charbonnet after that ACL tear.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, there's going to be some other suitors for K9 out there too. So he's definitely going to have to weigh those options because he's going to have plenty of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're on the same page too when it comes to the draft. And I expect the defensive back as well. Obviously, Caleb Downs is, ideal for me, but I don't know if he's gonna be available at 18. I got to do some more homework. I know there's some corners that will be there at 18 that I think would add some value to this team. But again, I don't know. Now that everything has kind of flipped on its head when you're talking about Vikings management. We don't know we don't really know right now. I think we need a couple more weeks or maybe a month to kind of see what the team's talking about. What are they doing? If there's going to be any talks about what kind of moves and what players they're going to be going after this offseason. So we'll see what happens. But I do expect them to hit on their first pick. I don't care. They have to hit. I think it's a must. That goes into this last topic right here. And this is why I think it's a must. All right. Is Kevin O'Connell on the hot seat in 2026, Steve? Let's end it with this
Absolutely.
topic.
Absolutely. I wrote an article on this before Kwesi was fired, that they were both on the hot seat going into 2026. They both have a part to play, not only in the Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy choice, but also in the way that Kevin O'Connell, like I mentioned before, was trying to put him in a box and coach him into what he wasn't. So we saw that. Now I will give him props on being at least eventually flexible enough to change the way that he was trying to mentor him with coaching, the playbook, and mechanics, to where weeks 14 through 16, hey, we saw a breakout, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give him a little bit of credit there too. But we saw many questions during the season with play calling. Now, he's the only coach in the NFC North without a playoff win. So we have to take that into account too. Eventually, regular season records are nice,
Yeah.
but you got to win some playoff games, and Mark and Ziggy Wilf aren't in the game to make it to the playoffs. They're not
Yeah.
satisfied with that. They want to get to the Super Bowl, and they want to eventually win one as an owner.
Yeah.
So eventually, they got to see that progress. Now, with firing Kwesi, somebody had mentioned, like, hey, whoever they bring in, I don't think KOC is going anywhere into this next season. Now, if this next season is another stinker and we have issues, because I do think he had a part with, still the JJ McCarthy
Yeah.
piece with that. So
Yeah.
I do think he is a little bit tied there. Um, so yeah, I think he's in the hot seat, and I think that some of his coaching choices that he chooses to make, play calling wise, playmaking wise, kind of stuck out a little bit this year, and we'll see if he can change them going into 2026. So I absolutely think he's in the hot seat. We had 10 of 32 teams decide to remove their coach. We had
Yeah.
Sean McDermott, who definitely didn't deserve to be fired. Bean's
Yeah.
lucky to have a job as a GM
Yeah.
Buffalo. That should have been the decision, is getting rid of Bean. McDermott should have stayed in Buffalo. And then you take a look at John Harbaugh. Now, there could have been some inside stuff there with John Harbaugh, but if John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, who would have been fired by the sounds of it, and they probably, there could have been a conversation that, hey, Mike, we'll let you take your own way out of it and retire,
Yeah.
whatever it is. There was a lot of rumblings that way. If those guys can lose their job with Super Bowl wins, and Mike Tomlin never having a losing season on record, and an amazing playoff record for John Harbaugh as well too,
Yeah.
and 8-8 for Sean McDermott. If they can lose their jobs, absolutely, you're on the hot seat.
Yeah. Absolutely. Somebody help Bob out right here saying, haven't seen this Warren kid at safety any good. Because I don't know. I'm still doing my draft stuff as we speak. I'm trying to get
Mhm.
my list of players that I'm gonna be locking in on. So if somebody in the chat knows about him, let them know, man. Is the Warren kid any good? Right here, though, real quick token. Shout out to him. He said, how many losses would it take for KOC to get cut mid-season? So like we're talking 8 games. We're 8 games in. What do you think the record would absolutely have to be for the Wolves to say, all right, we've seen enough of this crap?
I think potentially, if you don't make the playoffs next year,
That's just what it is.
we could be looking at
Yeah.
a new coach.
I
Now,
think they got it.
I don't think it's a record thing.
I think it's playoffs or bust, though.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's the article I
I'm
wrote.
going to go
kinda
one
sticking with
further.
it.
I'm going to go one further. I think they got to win a playoff game. I don't think we can just make the playoffs and then just lose or get embarrassed in a playoff game. I feel like we got to
Yeah.
win the game.
I think I think it depends. So if we see a significant growth with JJ McCarthy and things are going great, and I think it would depend how we lose that game. I still think that there is a shot that depending on how that season goes and how we're playing, that he stays, whether we win or lose, making the playoffs. But if it's a disaster and we're not in the playoff talk, I do think that we make a change. And unfortunately, um, you know, firing Kwesi Adofo-Mensah did not save KOC from not being on the hot seat anymore. He's
Yeah.
still there.
Shout out, Mr. I want to mock. I didn't forget about you. I want to mock. I know I said I was gonna do a mock draft right off the bat, but we got a guest on, so we're not doing that next live though. I got you, brother. We doing the mocks, Mr. I want to mock. Do you do mocks over there on your channel, Steve?
Yeah, I have one planned here coming up
Okay.
here in the next couple of weeks as well. Like you said, I still have to do some deeper diving, but some people in the chat that are talking about Caleb Downs, I really don't think he's going to be there. Jeremiah
Yeah.
Love,
Yeah.
that could be a possibility. If Jeremiah Love is there at 18,
Do you trust KOC using him though? That's my issue.
It's hard not to take that talent where he's at in BPA. If he's there, BPA, it's got to be Jeremiah Love for the type of needs that we have. Because when we start talking about cap casualties, is Aaron Jones on this team next year?
No, and he shouldn't be.
And how comfortable do we feel with our number one then?
Jordan Mason, and that's
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason is, to me, is a straight one-trick pony in my opinion. In my opinion, I like Jordan Mason, but he's not the running. He's not the running back that I'm looking for. I'm gonna tell you that right now. As a fan, he's not the guy I'm looking for. I need better. Jeremiah Love could possibly be the guy I'm looking for, but I just don't think Kevin O'Connell will value him. That's my issue.
So the free agent period, by the time the draft happens, free agency hasn't happened yet, right?
Right.
So if you have the opportunity to take Jeremiah Love at 18, not knowing what's going to happen in free agency, you probably take him. There's probably not a safety available at 18 that's worth taking that high.
Yeah, if it's not Caleb Downs, then
and I don't think Caleb Downs will be there.
Right.
There are some other people that are mocked to us later on, but I think we can probably go down and get somebody in round 2, round 3 to help with that. And I think we probably have to rely on free agency again, unfortunately, for that position. But something to keep in mind is just a player like a Jeremiah Love probably doesn't come around all that often.
Yeah.
And you usually don't have chances and opportunities like that. So you probably got to take it, even though that you desperately probably need 1 or 2 safeties on this team going into next year. I don't think Jay Ward solidified himself as a starter. Is Harrison Smith back? Leaning towards no, probably. I don't know that, but I mean, it definitely kind of seemed like he was going to be done.
Yeah.
So you probably need 1 or 2 safeties. You probably at least need another corner to bring in next year. Those are kind of the biggest glaring holes. And I will say, with the cap space that we have, even though the cap did increase this coming year, which will help us out a little bit, there's still going to be some cap casualties and some holes to fill at center to save us some money, because he's already on contract for another year in a prove it type year. I don't think you have to go out and spend the money. I think we stay with Jurgens as the backup, and I think Blake Brandel is your starter.
Let's go, man. Let's get it. Shout out to you. I'm glad you said that, because me and Davey OG, man, in the chat, he's part of the community. We've been calling for that, man. We've been standing on that. Blake Brandel should be the starting center.
Absolutely. 1,000,000%. I'm with that.
Let's go.
I will have an article coming out this week on that.
Hey, send me that article, Steve. I need that. I'm posting that. Yeah, let's get it.
So, I'm working on it. It should be out here this next week.
Let's go,
the weekend.
Man. Hey, so where can the people find you, Steve, man, before you get out of here? I know you got another show you got to go hop on. You a busy man tonight, man. Busy man talking Vikings football.
Absolutely. So at Steve Hoykala on X, at Vikings Playbook on X as well. And I do write for purpleptsd.com. You can go ahead and check out mine and others' work there too. We're always writing about everything purple. And then, there's a lot of football fans in here, right? So I got to plug this. So I also run a fantasy football podcast and a fantasy football website. So if you love fantasy football, go ahead and check out fantasy15football.com. And we do podcasts as well for that. And we will have not only your draft kit ready for 2026, but if you check out our website, you can see that we have some things that are coming your way. We plan to have, hopefully, this season having our full ranking system all set up on our website, as well as we do have what we like to call our Fantasy 15 fan chat. And our fan chat is an area where you can not only talk to other fantasy football owners, talk about maybe even creating additional leagues in there too, but you can also not only reach out to us off of a podcast, but you can ask, who should I sit, start, trade? And you can get feedback not only from us, but other owners.
Let's go, man. Shout out Steve, man. Look, this
At
was
Fantasy 15 FB on X.
let's go, man. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with the bro. Tap in with him. Hey, this was a great episode. Thank you so much for tapping in with me, Steve, and sitting here tonight with me and talking some Vikings football. This is one for the books, man. I think we touched on a lot of great things, great topics that our team is going through and what we expect from our team moving forward. This is going to be a rewatch one, man. Shout out to everybody who is tapping in, rewatching this. Make sure you hit the like button, man. Wipe your feet at the door. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Let's go Vikings, man.